Oh man, that's a very tough question because there's so many different aspects of it. Like at one point you have it coming across the border, right? And then so there's that legal part of it, police or whatever who are doing raids or whatever and getting rid of the guns. But then you also have the youth who are deciding to pick up the guns that people want to put it in their hands. So for me though, excuse me, a lot of my content I focus on the younger generation who, well I wouldn't say younger generation, even my generation of people who are in the process of taking up that gun. So that's who I target. So I think it would more focus on one element that can sort of curb the violence is just putting that knowledge and deter people from making those choices. So for example, if someone, a lot of my videos I geared to someone, okay, who wants to pick up the gun tomorrow, I'm going to show you like the Casper interview. You're seeing someone with Casper who has that clout and who has that opportunity as an artist. Look what happened to him. Let's talk about that. What happened to him? Missing his daughter, missing money, being away for whatever, being away from his brother. And we're showing you, don't do that. So that's just one sort of, I guess, putting the knowledge in people's head, young people's head, and making that choice of not to do that and go get money, go take care of your family or something. So that's my, what I think is something could curb the violence. Definitely, I think it can to a certain extent because it just has to be, because even if you provide after school programs, I feel like people, yeah, they still have a place, but what's going on in that place, right? So I feel like if they have somebody, like my thing is just having a leader, an older head there to sort of check in and guide the youth and say, you know, whatever, because they could have the after school program, and after school program they could be smoking and doing whatever. So, but don't get me wrong, they're right what those mothers are talking about, and I know what I always see them, the Community for Zero Gun Violence leader, they always push the after school programs. It's right, but I think someone needs to be in there, like a leader that people can see and that people can sort of monitor, have a relationship with these young boys that can actually put an arm around them and teach them and show them something, right? So I think a program with a leader is definitely a way to curb it, yeah.
You know, I didn't actually have this question in mind, but there was this video that Lola Bunz did for a song called Hot Heads, in which it's like a response to older heads or OGs, like not like helping out with the younger people like in the city, you know, like lack of OGs and all that type of stuff too. And then you had Papa Corleone, who was sort of like an OG to the people, you know, to help people like not follow the same steps like he had like a long time ago. So do you think that there's like a lack of like OGs or like older heads like in Toronto that can help the youth in that sense?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I wouldn't say if there's a lack of OGs. I guess there is, because there's a lot of young boys picking up guns, and we're seeing their ages and, you know, they're running from police, whatever. When they get caught, they're 15, 16, 17. So I guess there is, but I'm not. It's kind of tough to say, you know. I don't know, but I guess there is. I would say maybe.
I know what you mean. This is just kind of like the second final question, like in that sense too, before my initial last question. So Shawn Cotton of CHE's TV spoke with Vlad, you know, about how he can't interview like the same artists as Vlad due to black content creators and journalists having to pick sides in who they like interview, like, and allow on a platform. So for example, CHE's can interview Julio from Florida, who has beef with Young and Ace, but he can't interview Young and Ace, but Vlad can interview Young and Ace and like Julio like at the same time. So how do you like feel about that, and do you think it's like sort of like similar to how Toronto creatives only allow like certain groups to be on their platform?
How do I feel about that? I don't believe that. Like as a creator, like I said, we have freedom, right? So I'm gonna work with, and I'm gonna interview whoever the hell I want to work with, and no one's gonna tell me nothing about who I want to. This my platform, my equipment, whatever. I'll do what I want to do. But how do I feel about that? I don't know if it's like that here, in terms of platform, because from what I've seen on their platforms, I've seen like people from all types of areas, whatever, come through. So I don't think it's like that here, but maybe from the videographers, maybe, because a lot of people like to have their own personal videographers and people who work in certain areas, and because they're saying certain things in their songs, they say them, and then maybe they can't go work with that people if they obviously just diss them, right? So I think it's like that maybe a little bit to a certain extent, but I wouldn't say too much that it's a problem. Yeah.
yeah, it's sort of like agree, like in that sense too. Like you can like interview like anyone you want. You have, like in the charter, you know, freedom of expression, like freedom of the press, all that type of stuff.
There we go.
Yeah. So I know usually like how you end an interview, you say like what's next to people.
Right.
But usually in my sense, like in my interview, like platforms and all that other type of stuff. So my like your what's next could be for me like what are your plans for this year in terms of either like potential interviews or other creative projects and so forth. And I usually ask this for like other people too, like everyone like on the platform. But how are there any final words you would like to say for any person like out there pursuing their dreams?
Okay, so final project, any project I have coming up, I have my exclusive interview coming up, but I can't say who it is yet. And I said this before, I gave out the name, but it's only on my website for my subscribers. I have an exclusive content page there, so if you subscribe and it's for free, you can go see who it is, but I'm not giving it out yet. And I also have some music videos. I was supposed to have another episode of Where You From coming, but all that's in the way. Nothing's set in stone yet. But yeah, and throughout the rest of the year, I wouldn't say I have anything really special. I've just been planning, we'll see. I'm supposed to do another, I have an idea of something I want to do, but I can't say it yet because, you know, it may not come together. So definitely more things coming. Make sure you subscribe to Capital T Filmz, you'll see it. But the second half of the question is, what did you say, any advice I have?
So do you have any like final words you would like to say for a person out there pursuing their dreams?
Who's pursuing their dreams? Yeah, start. Definitely just start, because I always say if something's not for you, you'll know it's not for you, but you'll get a lesson or you'll get a connection from whatever you're doing. If you want to be a content creator, man, start. And there's no, well, there is some mistakes, but you always learn from it. So I would say just start. It's amazing. Like now that I look back, I'm like, whoa, I look back at all the videos I've done, everything, I'm like, holy. We're getting to a new year, like man, I've done a lot of videos, my portfolio is getting bigger, and I'm like, it feels like I started this yesterday. So just start, and like, you put your head down and work, and when you look up, you look back, you'll be surprised, you're like, whoa, I did all this. So I would say, just start. It's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Capital T Filmz, thank you for coming by, man, and for giving your piece, and you know, doing this like official like interview, like interviewer to interview, you know, and you know, best of luck to like everything that you have going on so far, and
thank you.
You know, until next time, man.
All right.